Hey, hey, hey! You're live, it says. Cheers. It's me, the Tin Man. I'm hanging out here, doing a bunch of uploading, a lot of videos that I've been taking. Some people might think too many videos, but there's not too many when you come to this subject, guys. There's not too many videos, especially when you're really showing super qualifying evidence that people might not truly understand at this time in the game of life with these creatures, but soon they will believe it and soon they'll totally follow it. So anyways, what is this, the next day, I believe, or is it, I could have looked, but if we look right here at this one main spot, calculate out, I don't know, this is where I was talking about the moss. You remember that, guys? This little shelf here. Did that corner right there come off? Remember, we were here and I was talking about the moss from here, and I think it might have still been a little bit more mossy than that and such. So picking. So these are the main ones we're going to watch then. This is the far right dirt pile. Oh, gotta make sure I watch my step. And then we're going to, I'm going to extend you out a little bit. A little crooked, so you might try turning on me a couple of times. So there's that. I'm going to step down one step. I'll do that, so I'll come up closer. Step down. This is kind of the main central area right now. See a little bit of damage going on there. And then they like to leave rocks around, like that guy and stuff. They'll literally just bring them here. Some of these looks like a lot of the round rock and stuff is from within the breaks, but this one from memory almost looks the same. I remember talking about the depth there. This one here, I don't know if I remember that going on. So that one's been changed. Not too sure. Up here, I don't know how the lighting's going for you guys, but I'm going to do a little bit of a climb here so we can see some stuff. And it's for sure happening up here too. I almost get a feeling that my support for this kind of wonky kind of talk might be diminishing in some ways. Almost looks like they've cleaned up these stairs more. And I don't know if it's just YouTube and their thing. You can see here more happening here. We've come up here and we've inspected these guys and talked about how these stairs are up here, this section and stuff, are hardly even touched, and we can see, like, you guys are staying strong on the connection, so I'm going a little bit higher. More. Remember, we were up here yesterday, I guess it was, talking about that. So see if we see anything that's cool that stands out. I'll come in closer. Oh yeah, when I was coming down, so we're going to do a little bit of going down stuff. So there, right on the tread, cleaning up of the rock. That's just scraping at the rock and such. And hey, whoever's out there, thanks for coming in. I was just saying that, the other day I did these rock stairs, and I don't know if I talked about it, but I wouldn't doubt it if the cops end up thinking that I'm the guy who's vandalizing them just for my video shows. That's how quick it's being vandalized more. Like, we're seeing a whole bunch more gravel and stuff around. That one's obviously been busted up more. This one is obviously been busted up more. This one is obviously been busted up more. I don't know how much I talked about this part of it. But in the earlier part of this video, you guys, I went through all the steps of a few things. Almost looked like that was going up, but I think that's how the rock guy really did do it, obviously, because they didn't bend the rock. So, yeah, what was it? Fresh yesterday did a video, was it? Or the day before? It was one or the other. And they totally came back. In one of the spots I talked about a heck of a lot. Hey, Rob, was this spot right here? Rob, I think you were one of the witnesses the other day. And I tell you, man, I kid you not, brother, they've been back here. It's what the freak. I think, I think, there's going to be a little monkey in there, man. Somehow, they're going to be like a little monkey. And they do a lot of stuff. This is just so weird trippy. Anyway, so Rob, I was just doing a little bit of a quickie to, just because these stairs really got me jacked, right? So, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking, Rob. There's a big difference from a month ago. Yeah, a huge difference, eh? So, yeah. I haven't gotten around to that rock wall that I promised, the 50-year-old rock wall. It's still standing. It's still going to give us huge story. And it gives you same story as this, but a different dramatics, right? So it'll be interesting watching them both during the summer, because them hitting this fast, like this guy's, I think this guy's going to be, I think they're going to do this set in really where we just decide, oh, we got to go in there and wipe them out, the city will just say, right? Destroy the project. Kind of a guess. But I wouldn't doubt it if we've never had to come by here and, when we're doing our lawn maintenance and stuff, they've probably never had to zip off this. Part of why I'm saying that is because I believe this whole project has only started underway with the new movement. The new movement involves a lot of wreckage. It involves a lot of, more production of food. I talk about this blackberry patch here, that's number of acres going along here. There's about, half an acre at that end, where I've got it for 2 seasons, where we could see that it ended up, the whole half acre got planted from blackberries. It's not, blackberries just kind of creep. They creep underground a little bit and sprout up. They creep over ground and then sprout into the ground and stuff. They're just a creeper plant, whether they're going fast or not. Well, that field was completely planted. So watch for those kind of things in anything. So that's what I'm kind of going with a little bit here, is they do like planting grass. They will take our grass, and that's why we can end up with patchy grass, right? So I'm just saying, I don't doubt that they've done this. This is part of the wear and tear look. I say a wear and tear look. But in the end of the day, the tree, once it grows in and plumes for the next season or whatever type thing, it can look beautiful again. A lot of these other ones that we look at, which reminds me, over by the Popo clan, I went and did sunrise videos, and it's really cool, one of the trees, because there's a couple of squares in the tree, so the tree really stands out, because the way they bashed it all up and stuff, it literally has, you can see through this one section through a big square. It's really quite cool. What you say, Rob? I'm really interested in your work. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it needs a lot of interest, Rob. I have concern for it. I really have concern for it. Not concern necessarily always just in a bad way, but concern where it's going to help us humans out a lot to know what these guys are up to. Think outside the box, yeah. If I didn't, I don't think I would have gotten this deep into this field, that's for sure. But anyways, thanks for stopping by, Rob. Anybody else? Appreciate thumbs ups, everybody. Any comment, Rob, that when you're, how sometimes you might read somebody else's comments? If you recognize the guy and you start to like him or whatever, he's got good comments and stuff, throw down thumbs ups, because those actually help my channel. If you can walk onto my channel and like 10 comments and thumb all those 10 comments and then thumb just my video itself, that is, trust me, it's helping me quite a bit. The one thing that is really bad for people, YouTubers, is not to get comments. I know you're good on giving comments and stuff, and I know I shouldn't be giving you kind of the lecture. I'm just giving you the pumper talk, but at the same time, hopefully other people would listen to the same pumper talk, right? And realize that a quick comment, even awesome, hi, goodbye, whatever it is, it just goes through. Okay, a comment went through. Thumbs went through. And trust me, those are one of the things, one of the couple of, if you look into your account, Rob, you'll see it. It's a big imprint to YouTube. It helps them realize that people really are somehow connecting with me. You know, sure, they see 2,000 subs and stuff and they kind of think, okay, people are wishy-washy or whatever type thing. But when there's real, you know, going through. It's like you had your channel there and you're kind of getting to understand yourself, Rob. You know, with, there's yin-yings out there and there's good people out there, right? So you're looking for people who are interested in your hobby and that's all. You're not looking for anything else, right? So, unless you're looking for a woman through there that's interested in your hobby. Anyways, peace out all. Have a good one. Thanks for coming in. Rob is saying, okay, I will, Ian, really wanted to get into the field of research, yeah? This field is, it's a new industry, and there's lots of parts to the industry. It hasn't even started to open up yet, Rob. So if you start going out there and you relate with a lot of my research, and that's a good thing, because I believe a lot of my research, a good portion of it is the new wave of the research. Most people aren't teaching that or even have learned it yet or even have a knack at it. And you can probably, like you've said, you know, or look outside or read outside the box or whatever. So you're seeing some different knacks that I have. So follow along with that. And then, you know, almost look at that word mentor. It means nothing to me. It means something to you. Because when you say you would mentor under somebody, it just has to do with your commitment, and it doesn't mean you're copying, and it doesn't mean you have to believe everything they say. But it is a mental step for yourself, just to take yourself into a level of university, whether it's, you know, you're mentoring through how to build really cool Lego structures, or how to build a skyscraper under somebody who's done it lots or something. You get me? Brothers and sisters, all who's out there, hopefully you're starting to realize that, go back and look at these stairs here and start to realize that, yeah, there's some guys that are truly mucking around, like Tin Man says, on the vastness that I say. Or why would they be coming back here on, I think it's the it might be there might have been a night in between that I hadn't been here, but I think I know what it might have been. I might have looked at them yesterday and decided that I didn't think they were here. Oh, hi, Karen. How's it going? I was just showing these stairs, Karen. They're getting ripped apart, man. Yeah, right on. Cool. That's good. So these stairs, yeah, you know, go back and look at the video again. Because it's also, you know, you're a super supporter anyways, but I was also talking to Rob about if he feels like, you know, picking up on his super support. And, you know, just a couple of pointers of how you could do it. But yeah, they're, you know, Karen, I've talked about these ones up here, how they're not near as marked, and they are showing aggressiveness too. And this is really cool because it's kind of interesting how they're showing most of the aggressiveness just on this. So they're trying to make this stuff look really failed. They'll be going to the point probably where they can get that stone out, You know, I think this might have been a new one, man. Is this a new one that wasn't there? Like, I don't know if I pointed that out. And if it is, look at, they just threw rubble in there. And that was another thing that I noticed. I wanted to tell you guys too. There is something going on where I wonder if they brought in the ants, but I have looked and there is ants going on, but it's not a big deal for them to transplant ants if you really think about it. But where was it? It was somewhere around here and I could tell, okay, it looked like they were breaking there and then they just tossed the stuff over. Maybe it was up on this higher level. I stopped and sat down for a little while. And it's just one of those little techniques that they'll do. You know, you break here, but you don't leave the break here. You take the break and you drop it right here. And I just remember looking at the fragments and thinking, hey, those fragments would fall back into there, no problem. I think it was somewhere around here I was sitting. There we go, we're coming into it, right here. These fragments right here, unless it's, No, that's small breaking, but yeah, I think that's old. Whoops, I think that's older small breaking. But if you look at these fragments right there, there's about 4 or 5 pieces. I think like the bigger one and stuff might start right in here and stuff, because if you look, it's really small stuff. So you look for that kind. You know, this is how Tin Man puts it together. This is how Ian puts it together. Like I just, you know what I'm saying when I say that. And you know what? I'm totally being watched. Like all the time, I get in little barks and stuff like that where you just know there's... And I think that barking and stuff, because they probably can signal and give certain amounts of information in a quiet way. Maybe if they have to do it super fast, then they need to go just throw it a bark. Somebody's coming really quick, so it's just a bark just to tell everybody, and everybody does the duck, does the whatever. But I figure that in most cases, they must have some kind of way that they can communicate, so it makes me wonder why they really do the bark around us and such then, eh? Do I feel eyes on me? No. I just know this area, and usually when I'm out there and stuff, no, they're like I say, they kind of just generally, most of the time, will give you some kind of a hint that they're around. And I don't necessarily fully get it as a on-purpose hint, but most of the cases, you know, testing hints and stuff, you know, I've watched a few times. Karen's saying, I see that they have really been damaged a lot since that video. Yeah, they've been damaged so much. Hey James, how's it going? Frank from the prairies, right on. Good to have you on. Which part of the prairies? The Saskatchewan prairies? The Manitoba prairies? My dad was a Manitobian brother. Oh, Regina, cool. Yeah, we were, or my dad was up in kind of English, Manitoba, and Russell, and kind of like that. Good evening, brother. Oh, hey, how's it going, Lindy? Hey, have you been around? Have you checked out any of my videos talking about this destruction going on here? Because it's getting worse. And if you know about my 50-year-old wall, I haven't done the videoing of it, but I will be doing a comparison pretty quick here, and they're starting to tear that one apart pretty good too. So when I look at this and how often they're coming back, as soon as they get to a point where they can start pulling out a rock, and they get away with it, and it doesn't seem like a big deal to us, then they just keep going. And it's, look at the light here. This light does turn off, and maybe it does turn off for most of the night when I'm not here or something. I'm not too sure, because I don't, you know, it does flash on and off, and maybe I turn it on. I'm not sure, but yeah, Lindy, it's just, you know, we see it in the trees, we see it in everything, we see it in our roads, we see it in this, we see it on all our roadsides, we see it when it comes to our concrete products. This is obvious here, because this is half our concrete, kind of in a way, even though it's rock and sand and stuff, but it's still our concrete product with the natural rock product. Because at one time I was seeing it just on rock product, and then I started to see how it's just, they actually are willing to do it on the concrete product, because it even questioned me whether they would scuff it at all based on the chemical you know, amounts in the concrete, whether that would be an irritant or they would just rather stay away from it or something. But I found them where they've working on a train, you know, on our river here, they're working on a train foundation, truly they are, and starting to frack away on it. And if we just kind of think about that, we let them get away with this because it's unseen. Nobody's really realizing it except for me and you guys who are going along with it and understanding the story. And it's like, and if we think about it, there's going to be so many foundations like that where there's a certain amount of where they can keep it totally hidden. I talked about another great, before I went to away in December there or whatever, where I went over to Victoria. I filmed that other big rock wall. That other big rock wall, by the end of summer, will be completely plant covered, so we won't even be able to tell that they're busting apart that wall. And yeah, they're taking apart that wall too. You can tell what they're doing is they're just taking big chunks out of the rocks. In most cases, they're just breaking up the rocks sitting there right there. Right, you know, right there. So if you have a couple of rocks around like this, and that guy out there, start watching for where you start to see where it's a shine of just a broken off piece. You know, even on these ones, they might be tempted to get in here and do certain scratching and stuff like that, right? And that's how you know when they're getting, you know, too cocky. Oh, it almost looks like there might be kind of a face off of this one. It's hard to tell. Maybe not. Another thing you can sometimes tell is you'll come here and you can start to see on the excavation of this. And we always think squirrels, rodents, different things like this. But be thinking about these guys who are doing this. We know no rodents that do this. We have no idea what animal would be willing to do this in such a quick thing that we taped here. And that animal likes to do all those other couple of things we just talked about. Digging and cracking of rocks, moving rocks, huge rocks. You could come here one day and this rock could be laying over on its side and you'd just be going, wow, whatever happened there or something. But because we hang out on this channel, you're going to have a really good idea what happened there. And the progressionness of it all is obviously happened. I've told you guys they're taking out our rivers. In almost every country they're talking about water problems. But I did my own water table experiment and I'll explain it to you guys, and you guys can even do it in your own areas by an ocean. Even if you live on the ocean or don't live on the ocean. Say you don't live on the ocean. I don't live on the ocean. I live a number of miles up the ocean. But the neat thing is, the ocean tide, which, you know, a low tide is probably a 10-foot drop or whatever's going on out there. Well, that tide actually affects our river all the way up here. So that the ocean's out here, say, and the river's up here within somehow that 10-foot difference, let's say. Up here it might be only down to the point where it's dropping it, affecting it in inches or in a foot or something like that, and obviously it totally disappears upriver more where it levels right out, and you get the point. Well, that stuff hasn't changed. You know, everybody's talking about the oceans filling up higher and stuff like that. Well, how come our numbers here haven't changed where our river naturally sits at all the time? Right now we're having a water issue where everybody's scared that our huge river, Fraser River, once again, is like it's up close to a couple of records, but it's still 5 feet off or something like that. But still, some places of our dike are weak. And I've been saying for 2 years almost that these guys make our dike systems weak. Now, our ocean isn't showing signs of being higher. You follow me there? So it kind of almost seems like, well, that almost seems like bullshit that the ocean's fuller, like there's more water. But we're having a lot of water problems. Well, the water problems, I believe, are probably just water control issues. Nobody's really getting into the thinking of the water control. When like this used to be a huge lake on this side of the mountain, and over there, like hundreds and hundreds of acres of kind of like a lake. And all the smart men back in those days came together and said, hey, let's get this whole water control system going here, and we'll have all this awesome farmland. So they did that. And so obviously they took that land away from maybe the developers, Bigfoot guys who took years to do that. Now all of a sudden we come in there and we start controlling it and stuff. Well, it seems like our smart people to get together to do that thing are no longer with us. So we're all scratching our asses and all scratching our heads. Why are the rivers, why are so many countries around the world having problems? And I'm saying, and I've been saying for a while, these guys frack. Does that mean they can be fracking in a way underground and changing some of the water systems? I know that there's been times where I've driven on some of my touring for these guys, and I've seen these big cliff things, and I've thought to myself, I wonder, you know, and it's just pouring water down there and turning into ice or whatever in the winter and all that. And I've driven past a couple of them, and I've thought to myself, I wonder if that's ever done that on that rock face before, or if that's the first time, because those guys up there, somehow they did it. They directed water to change its flow and come over to that way. You guys are getting me, I think, and getting the urgency of it in a way. Because if these guys really are doing a whole bunch of shit little damage like this, and this is just the little pack, and we have the big pack like that likes to do the big things, maybe we have way too many of these guys around. Maybe they're way too busy on just doing silly things. That's why they haven't touched these. That's why these stairs got to go unscathed. For 50 years they got to, or whatever they are. They obviously look like they're 50 years old at least, and they got to look like this. This is just probably all their naturalness. Maybe the Bigfoot and the whatever kind of creatures around here are the ones that went around and did all the mossing on it and so on and so forth. But there's the new change, and that's the thing that I registered on, and I registered it with in the electrical industry, in the sewage industry, in our water control industry, in just fun in the mountains, through the highway industries with all the rock problems and stuff, and we just keep thinking that this mountain for some reason wants to fall apart. You know, and meanwhile, we got a chunk of mountain in our backyard, you know, half of us, and it never falls apart, just naturally just starts to crumble. But we don't really think like that, and now we have to, so that's my excitement. So where are we at? Great, you're great. So Bigfoot Forest is saying gray. Yes, and it is noticeable here in the city. Yeah, they're coming into all the green belts. Not just that, they're going into the cities. They're picking at the buildings and stuff. I don't know if you've seen, but I put a video up over there, the Parliament buildings, where I went up to one of the corners, and it was kind of the first spot I kind of checked out. And that beautiful granite rock it's, you know, scratched in a way where I was able to just go up and rub it with my fingers, and I was getting the sand dust from them just kind of almost doing like a pocking chip at it. And I ended up noticing a lot of that around the city then, almost this pocking chipping. So imagine you do have 5 really hard fingernails, and you just go up to something and you're just going chick, chick, and then you look at it, and what happened there is there's just a whole bunch of little pocks. So that's what I was noticing. So when you're around the Parliament buildings, just go up to the round edges or the inside corners and stuff. You might be able to see they're actually a lighter color. They should be the same dirty as whatever's going this way. It should be close, but actually just go up and rub them. And you know, and I'm talking about on walls like this, like a vertical wall, and you rub it. And yeah, and you really shouldn't, like I'm rubbing this and I'm not getting any particles off of it. And this is something that we walk on and is out here in the dust and all that kind of stuff. So why would that rock be doing that? So yeah, and what we have to do is we obviously, on that in particular building, the Parliament building, you know, it's kind of a special building. So we got to make sure they don't start chipping it, that they don't really start breaking the pieces off. Like, we got to be awake that our guards are walking around just watching for them. That's all. And if they suspect something, just start yelling. That's all we're going to have to do is just start, you know. I think we're probably just going to have to start accepting them because they don't look like they're going anywhere. VT Mint Victoria. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. So yeah, Ian, I would like to see the rock wall. Yeah, it's coming, it's coming. Not that far. Stupid people pass holy shit, he's going that hard that far. I know where he's going, and that's just stupid. I'd probably be doing it though, but I'd probably be doing it better, right? Oh, and now he's hitting it again. Now he's way down on the highway there. It's funny because that noise travels so much, the cops could bust these people so easy just based on noise around here. Yeah, Ian, I would like to see the rock. I live in a Galloping Goose Trail. It's loaded with signs and stuff. Yeah, the whole island, all of us are loaded. I tell you, man, we are so loaded. We are overloaded. Something's going on. You know, the baby industry must be in a boom there. It must be something like that. Karen is saying, right on, Tin Man, and I see changes going on here in our Greenbelt land. Oh yeah, that is full of trees and creeks goes through it. They are shaping it to fit them. Bigfoot Forest, yes, along the waterfront. Yes, I saw your observations there and discovered some neat log formations further down the gorge. Oh, okay. You think they use simple tools? Yeah, they do. They use rocks and stuff. But I really think they have a built-in pretty special clawing technique is the biggest tool. Especially if you start to get into my talking like I showed it there the other day. I think you might have been here, Rob, where I was showing actually where I called them score marks on that pillar up there. It's just a monument thing where the plaque's gone. And I should put my own plaque on there, eh? Just glue it on there. That's a great idea. Yeah, scoring on there, and then it seems like it's pulling, you know, that stuff we put in concrete, calcium. It's like it's pulling calcium out of and I've seen it where it's just on stone, like it's pulling calcium straight out of stone even. So do you guys know if that's a common product? Is that where we get calcium from stone? I don't know. Peace out, everybody. Thank you so much for coming by. Everybody remember the huge support of thumbs. You know, if you come on and you enjoy a person's talking, but you don't always just get that necessarily day, then get the subject that day or whatever. It doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't warrant a thumbs up, right? Thumbs up is the sign of support in a very minimal way, really, where it's no sweat off of us to really be thumbsing anybody. I do think that they use simple tools. Do it, bro. Yes. How do I get your logo? In what way do you want my logo? Like in a sticker? I'm thinking about, I think on this pay swing here, because I have another idea for another color. Have you seen my, well, I got this one, which is kind of just, it was the starting of my logo, the big one. And kind of the sticker that I'm going with is this guy. That's the guy that, you know, that was my first sticker creation. But now I have a different color idea that I'm gonna do with them, the exact same one, but just in a different color. So yeah, and then, you know, I'm just trying to figure out ways of, you know, kind of building this more and more. So I'll figure out a way that people would be able to, I don't know, maybe still do that old-fashioned way if somebody just sends me an envelope, and a self-addressed envelope, keep it nice and simple, and yeah, and then I just put one in there and then send it to you, and then you just make sure that it's the size of an envelope that is about you know, those in particular stickers are like 4.5 inches around, I think. So food for thought. We're just thinking about it. Oh, look at all those bugs there, right? Well, maybe you guys can't see. Quite the spider nest there anyways. Peace out, everybody. Thanks for coming out.